Two young leaders from West Africa, Ibrahim Traoré from Burkina Faso and the newly elected Bassirou Diomaye Faye from Senegal, are working together to make their countries better. They both care about their people and want to help them. We will talk about how Ibrahim Traoré and Bassirou Diomaye Faye plan to work together in this video. Before we start, remember to like this video and subscribe to the African Web channel. And let us know in the comments if you think Senegal's new president should work closely with Ibrahim Traoré. In recent years, some countries in West Africa, which used to be controlled by France, have been standing up against unfair treatment. Leaders like Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta from Mali, Mamadi Doumbouya from Guinea, and Abdourahmane Diarra from Niger have been speaking up for their people. Now, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the new president of Senegal, wants to do the same. He wants to make Senegal stronger and more independent. He is young and full of energy, and he is ready to make changes. That's why it is important to see how Ibrahim Traoré and Bassirou Diomaye Faye will work together. They both have similar ideas for their countries, and they want to help their people. So let's see what they have planned for the future. Faye's journey to becoming president was not easy. He started as a tax inspector, then became a political prisoner before becoming the president of Senegal. In his new role, he is focused on putting the people of Senegal first. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, leader of Burkina Faso, congratulated Mr. Bassirou Diomaye Faye on becoming president. He sees Faye as a symbol of a new era for Africa, where countries are free and sovereign. Traoré believes that strong leadership is essential for Africa's progress. He is ready to work with Faye to improve cooperation between African nations and tackle common challenges. This cooperation is crucial for promoting peace, stability, and development in Africa. Traoré's words show his hope for a better future and his belief in partnership between African countries. Faye is seen as a savior by many in Senegal. He has promised to make Senegal sovereign and free from Western control. Other leaders like Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta, and Abdourahmane Diarra share his vision. There is talk of Senegal forming a confederation with Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Faye's plan to get rid of the colonial currency, the CFA franc, is in line with the goals of these countries. Together, they hope to build a better future for West Africa, free from colonial influence. Videos have been shared on social media showing President Faye speaking out against France. In one video, a man says it's time for France to stop oppressing them and causing suffering. Ibrahim Traoré has also spoken out against French influence. At a summit last year, he talked about ending oppression in Africa. Now, Faye and Traoré are focusing on a common issue: the colonial currency, the CFA franc. It has never been closer to disappearing. Senegal used to support France's influence in Africa. But now, Faye wants Senegal to be more independent in food, energy, and finance. Never before have four West African governments, including Senegal, a regional leader, been so determined to break free from the grip of the CFA franc, a symbol of neocolonialism. Throughout history, attempts to leave the CFA franc, which dates back to 1948, have been met with interference from France. For instance, when Guinea decided to leave the CFA franc in the 1960s, it faced a flood of counterfeit banknotes. Mali faced pressure to rejoin the CFA franc after leaving in 1967, eventually returning in 1984. In 2011, Ivory Coast's President Laurent Gbagbo, considering an exit from the CFA franc, was forced out after disputed elections with military intervention and later faced trial at the International Criminal Court before being acquitted a decade later. In 2011, France went even further, using its influence within the decision-making bodies of the Central Bank of West African states to block Ivory Coast's attempts to secure refinancing. Leaving the CFA franc has always carried a risk of French sabotage. However, the landscape is changing, and West African nations can better prepare if they unite. If Ivory Coast, like Senegal, elects a president less dependent on France in 2025, it could signal the end of the West African CFA franc. Let's circle back to President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. President Faye's electoral agenda included a plan to transition away from the CFA franc and establish a national currency. Key steps in this plan involve establishing a national central bank, refinancing state expenditure at 0% interest, discontinuing the use of gold as currency, and regulating its import and export to accumulate a gold reserve, bringing back gold reserves currently held in Paris and various other locations worldwide. restructuring public debt and eliminating private debt through monetary fiat, implementing a deposit insurance program for small savers, and establishing a national stock exchange. Leaders from Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali have similar strategies. The emergence of Faye could turn these plans into reality. Faye has pledged to review all contracts with foreign entities in his country. For instance, the Senga oil project, primarily owned by Australian company Woodside Energy 82%, with only 18% ownership by Senegal, would likely undergo renegotiation under Faye's leadership. We don't need to emphasize the similar actions taken by Ibrahim Traoré and Abdourahmane Diarra against foreign corporations since assuming power. Niger halted gold sales to French firms exploiting it, while Burkina Faso ceased selling gold at unfairly low prices. A unified currency among these West African nations could facilitate a shift in focus towards the well-being of their people. This is because it would redirect governments towards the domestic economy and its citizens. The overvalued CFA franc often enables easy importation and repatriation of profits by foreign corporations, but a common currency would make this more challenging. In general, Senegal and Sahel governments are now globally stronger than ever. The African continent plays a crucial role in Europe's energy transition and oil and gas supply diversification. Furthermore, China, Russia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Turkey are challenging Western military, diplomatic, and trade dominance in Africa. If Senegal and the Sahel governments handle the termination of the CFA franc effectively in their negotiations with international partners, as well as with their domestic capitalist class and opposing political factions, its demise could be imminent. While this will not mark the end of the journey towards achieving food, energy, and overall economic sovereignty for the people, it will represent a significant symbolic and practical triumph against post-colonial interference and influence. The colonial CFA franc has overstayed its welcome in today's era of left Pan-Africanism. Ending neocolonialism is a substantial challenge, but for the first time in many years, it is a challenge that can be directly confronted. African nations have reached a tipping point and are no longer willing to tolerate ongoing interference. Should Ibrahim Traoré and Bassirou Diomaye Faye collaborate closely? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and share the video. And don't forget to subscribe to the African Web channel for more Africa-related updates.